the Challengers Circuit. February 2021, we will crown a new winner today, and it will be one of Rahmations, Gerald Freeman, Moya, or Cool Ice Age. We've got 2 rollers at the top, 1 hyper quick tapper at the bottom, and 1 regular old tapper right at the bottom. So it's going to be one of those 4 names who will achieve a new Discord role. None of them have one before, and it will be their new main role. They'll get a new color in the Discord, which is what everyone cares about. Oh, and they also get a free entry into the Masters event, but who cares about that? Challengers semifinals getting underway in 3, 2, 1. Tetris, good luck, have fun to both players. On paper, this should be a straight fire matchup, but we don't play Tetris on paper, we play Tetris on the NES. I mean, what makes paper paper? Does paper really exist? Or is the universe just papering? Because, I mean, what makes anything unique in the universe? That's a question we all have to ask. And the question we have to ask right now is, what scores are the players on? Good starts here. 91,000 for Gerald, 53,000 for Rahmations. Finding a nice solve for a little bit of a mess on his board, but Rahmations is clean now. Alright, I'm getting a lot of accusations here in the chat that I'm secretly rooting for Gerald. No, I am not rooting for Gerald, even though him winning would increase my chances of making the Masters event, which is all I ever wanted. I am impartial. So please stop accusing me of this. This is not very nice. Alright, at the moment, Gerald at 148, Rahmations 123. Both players are just playing clean at the moment. Gerald with a J dependency over to the left side, but J's always show up, so not a big issue, able to fill it in. Currently Gerald at 200,000, Rahmations at 215,000. Will this guy stop inviting me? I don't even know this guy. Block all communication. Sorry about that. 247 for Gerald, 261 for Rahmations. We're all professionals here. Oh, Rahmations, Gerald, sorry, with a hang of the Lombard. Didn't be an issue to get something over to the left side. But if you ever wanted a square burst, now's the time. And now instead needs a J, but the J comes. And with a few squares, Gerald's left side is going to be clean. Nicely solved there. Rahmations currently with a 1 Tetris advantage. Getting a Tetris right there. 332 for Rahmations. 297 for Gerald. Currently both the players not getting into too many issues here in game number 1. Both just playing clean. Rahmations does have a Lombard dependency though, and is trying to keep it clean as he gets the Lombard right there. Gerald playing up high, but as a roller, not going to be afraid of heights. And gets a Tetris right there. Simul Tetris, in fact. 404 for Rahmations. 353 for Gerald. And yeah, we are around about the 100 line mark now. So approaching the post-transition. Now what is effectively for these two players the first transition of the game. Gerald doing a minor bit of burning. Rahmations keeping it clean. Has been slightly more efficient here on the 18 part of the game. Tetris here for Rahmations goes up to 498. Gerald at 427. Now Rahmations has a Lombard dependency, which is also a Tetris setup, and is going to keep the Tetris setup, gets the Tetris right there, and a double away from being clean. There you go, 527 for Rahmations. 499 for Gerald. Rahmations now having some awkward placements on his board. And Gerald's actually going to transition right there. 506 for Gerald, finding a nice roof burn to fix his board. Gets a Tetris right there. 532 now for Gerald on level 19. Rahmations is still on level 18. And is looking to have a better transition, but in a little bit of danger, but does well to clean it up. And Rahmations is going to be clean now on level 19. Tetris ready, 541 for Rahmations. Gerald already on level 20 at 584. Tetris there for Gerald goes up to 610,000 points on level 21. Both of these guys having a good post-transition so far. Both of them trading Tetrises. Gerald's about a level ahead, but also ahead in score by about 2 Tetrises. So very neck-and-neck game here. Gerald is waiting for a Lombard, but can't stack the board so high, so he can afford to wait. Gets the Lombard right there. Tetris for Gerald goes up to 673. Rahmations a level behind at 650. Both of the players having to deal with minor burning. 710,000 for Rahmations on level 23. Gerald now on level 24 at 763. Rahmations now set up for a roof burn, but nicely burns right there with the J-piece. 769 into level 24 for Rahmations. Gerald now running into some issues on 24. Should be good enough to clean this up. Nice roof burning right there. The horizontal awareness coming out here for Gerald. Rahmations in some trouble, but should be able to survive this. 803,000 points for Rahmations on level 24. Gerald already on level 26 at 837. But Rahmations is still burning. So Gerald could actually take the efficiency lead here as Rahmations enters level 24 at 832. Gerald gets a dirty Tetris and another one. Has a mess on his board into level 27 at 915,000 points. Rahmations is completely clean now on level 26. Gets a Tetris, goes up to 865. Gerald doing some burning here. Now into level 28. Obviously has the ability to play post 29. But wants to clean his board up for that. You know, Rahmations trying to maximize his efficiency for entering level 29. Gets his well reopen. Is now Tetris ready. But Rahmations trying to burn his well reopen. Meanwhile, Gerald has entered level 29. Gets a kill screen. Tetris goes up to 980,000. Rahmations currently on level 28 at 927,000. Rahmations behind and will need something on the kill screen, but this board Going into 29 is problematic, but so far surviving it, burning it down, gets the T over. Rahmations, what a dig! And is nearly out of this. Meanwhile, Gerald just keeps going on here on level 31. AO3 for Gerald. Rahmations on level 30 at 967. Gerald on level 31 at AO10. Gerald now entering level 32 here at 1.014. Rahmations still going also on level 31 at 981,000. Gerald now on level 33 at A28. Rahmations left side is completely cut off and won't be able to get a Lombard over, so Gerald out surviving Rahmations. Post 29 still going here on level 33, now into level 34. What a game one here to start us off. And Gerald just keeps going. Nothing is stopping this man. Gets the Tetris with a 1.1. Will this man ever stop? Set up for another Tetris. Locks up the well. And the left side is cut off. So the insanity stops. But what a game one here for Gerald. What a game one by Rahmations. But Gerald taking a well-deserved heart number 1. My brain cannot compute fast enough with these post-29 duels. I am getting old. Unbelievable here. And that was just game 1. And we're ready for game number 2. Hover 3 from both players. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Yeah, I do well with with a stint at auctioneer school. You know, it used to be that in order to be a top Tetris player, your brain has to compute fast enough to deal with these speeds. Now the commentators have to be young enough to have the reaction time to deal with these speeds as well. And I don't know if I'm cut out for that. I shall do my best here. Unbelievable game number 1. So 91,000 for Rahmations. Gets the Tetris goes up to 114. Gerald with the Tetris goes up to 115. There's only been 2 burns here in this entire game between the two of them, and both on Gerald's side. A very efficient start here onto level 18. And for those who are not aware, and are wondering, who the heck is Gerald? Many people have asked that. My man just came out of nowhere, basically. And as a roller, got 1.2, has been super cracked. And this is his first tournament ever. So you know how people say their competitive nerves with everyone's debut? Gerald isn't human, so doesn't have those apparently. And can just bust out a level 34 in competition. Smooth motions that, yeah, smooth motion. It is a singular motion. Thank you so much for the subscription. 251,000 for Rahmations. 231,000 for Gerald. I guess it's only fair that we talk about Rahmations here. Has quite an interesting story himself. Was a DAS player. Maxed out with DAS for the first time. Switched to rolling. And seemingly overnight is now one of the best rolls in the world. Has a 1.5, so that's all that needs to be said. 280,000 for Gerald. 289,000 for Rahmations, although Rahmations with the messier of the two boards. Rahmations. Now, just a few burns away with that double will reopen the well and gets the Tetris. 320,000 for Rahmations. 349,000 for Gerald. So another even game here on level 18. Though this time it's Gerald with a slight lead, currently at 402,000. Rahmations at 367. $448 for Gerald, 437 for Rahmations. Rahmations having a bit of a mischief there with the square. So he's gonna have to burn a little bit. Past the 100 line mark for both players now. Gerald keeping it clean. Rahmations doing some burning, but more than enough time to get this board clean for level 19. I mean, we just saw game number 1. Even if the board wasn't clean, I don't think Rahmations would be in any trouble whatsoever. Gerald having a stellar 18 campaign so far. 542 at 113 lines. Rahmations at 495 at 124 lines. The last game it was Gerald who was ahead in lines, but this time it looks like he's slightly behind. Neither of the players pushing down, so it's solely down to who's playing higher on the board. Rahmations gonna enter level 19 at 542. Gerald with a near 100,000 point lead going into the post-transition at 635. Both of the players are clean. Gerald is Tetris ready. Tetris for Gerald is up to 661. So Gerald having a very good game here. 686 for Gerald going into level 20. Rahmations now on level 20. Gets a Tetris, goes up to 602. Ooh, Gerald with a misflip there with the S-piece. At a height where you didn't have to worry about topping out. That's going to cost him a few burns depending on how efficiently he can solve this. Now hoping for a J piece, it's going to get the J. It's going to be more burning here for Gerald. The slight window of opportunity here for Rahmations, who's keeping this board clean. Rahmations with a Tetris goes up to 683 and to level 22. Gerald still having some issues with this board. Currently on level 21 at 703. Now it's Rahmations doing some burning as well. Love to get an L piece. It's gonna burn with the T. Both of the players currently digging. Ooh, Gerald left side looking problematic. Should be able to get a Lombard over or a J piece. Just flies over without any troubles whatsoever. Gerald currently on level 23 at 729. Rahmations at 706 on level 24. Rahmations with an extra dirty Tetris. Still not completely clean yet though. Meanwhile, Gerald has cleaned out. 762 into level 24 for Gerald. Rahmations now on level 25 at 755. Rahmations is almost clean finally. There it is. Rahmations Tetris ready, but has a T-spin set up. Hits the T-spin, gets his well reopened. Has a Lombard dependency, which he's going to fill in before taking the Tetris. Rahmations now with a clean board, but it is quite high. And even for a roller, these heights tend to get problematic. Needs to get something over to the left side. Doesn't get the Lombard over. Rahmations is done at 767. And Gerald 1 game away from the finals. Gerald here having an excellent game. I think the viewers at home would love to see you play this out, so definitely feel free. Oh, and that's not a Steam message, that is Pumpy Heart changing something in Dropbox. Anyways, Gerald here got the max out and has secured the back-to-back 1.1 with that kill screen Tetris. After game number 1, I'm not even surprised anymore. And he keeps going. Oh my god, Gerald. Going for a dirty Tetris. No, that doesn't burn! That was quite the attempt there for a filthy Tetris. Either way, secures the back-to-back 1.1. Don't worry about it. I think we all enjoyed that. And the most important thing for Gerald, 2-0 ahead. And 3 match points to book a ticket into the grand finals. Both players are hovering 3. So ready to go for game number 3 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Rahmations has been playing far from bad. In fact, he's been playing excellent Tetris himself. But when you've got a guy like Gerald just breaking reality here on the right side, it's hard to keep up. But Rahmations, no slouch himself. Excellent player. And still in this match. Slight misdrop there for Gerald. It's going to cost him a few burns. Nice split double there with a J. And we'll have his well reopen. Nice spins there by Rahmations. Currently 49,000. Make that 72,000 for Rahmations. Gerald with a Tetris goes up to 54,000. Ooh, Rahmations now running into some issues, but will be able to take the roof burn right there. Both of these players are rollers, of course, so seemingly no 18 height is too scary for them, but a missed roll at a crucial time can mean doom even on these relatively slow speeds. Currently, Gerald taking the advantage at 151,000. Rahmations with a hole on his board at 112,000. Rahmations getting the square over. Now this is looking dangerous here for Rahmations. Handling it nicely so far, but needs a JP sword to the left side. Does exactly that. Now has his well reopened, not for a Tetris, but certainly for safety. Gonna take the triple right there. Is now Tetris ready on row 2 is Rahmations. Gerald at 188,000. Rahmations at 131,000. Comparative suffer game here for both players. compared to games 1 and 2. But Rahmations handles the dig, gets the road to Tetris, and is now set up for another one. And there it is, 183 for Rahmations, 201,000 for Gerald. Rahmations now set up for a dirty Tetris. Gonna work out perfectly. Gets it right there. 210,000 for Rahmations. 248,000 for Gerald. Gerald, I believe, had a slight misstep there with the J piece, but shouldn't offer too many troubles. Gets a J right there. Not wanting to solve that with a Lombard. Ooh, Gerald not getting the Lombard over. This could get a little bit scary here, but is set up for the dirty Tetris and gets the Lombard. So now it just has a huge Lombard dependency over to the left side that he has to deal with. And currently the scores, Rahmations actually taking the lead, is ahead in lines. 306,000 for Rahmations at 109 lines. Gerald at 281 after 99 lines. Right now, suffer games here for both players, but they are relatively even, which is all that really matters. Rahmations at 354,000, Gerald at 353,000. Gerald doing a slight bit of burning here over towards his right side. And it looks like both players will be clean going into level 19. Rahmations taking the Tetris into level 19 at 403,000 points. Gerald is one Tetris away, and he is set up for it. So Gerald Tetrising into level 19 at 387,000. I can't tell if those were some missteps there for Gerald, or if that was just some 200 IQ play that I just cannot compute. Either way, Gerald doing a bit of burning, but able to fill in a Lombard dependency very quickly. 399 for Gerald on level 20. Rahmations at 505,000 into level 21. So Rahmations with a slight lead here. Both of the players are playing clean on 19 at the moment. 535 for Rahmations gets another Tetris into level 22 at 562. Rahmations now having to decide if he wants to build on row 2, and the answer is yes. Gonna get the Tetris and uncovers the hole perfectly. 623 into level 23 for Rahmations. Gerald now into level 23 at 564. So it was neck and neck at the transition, and Rahmations able to pull away ever so slightly. Rahmations, though, trying to reopen the center well. Now needs a Lombard to reopen and gets the Lombard. Nice burn right there to alleviate his stack of any holes. Rahmations still trying to reopen the center well. Lombard just not coming at the right time. Meanwhile, Gerald in huge danger. Able to get this well reopened and gets the Lombard. So now should be able to get something over to the left side without any troubles is Gerald. And he's going to be cleaned up. Both players on level 25 at 612,000. No, Gerald at 612,000. Rahmations at 656,000. Now into level 26. And now it's Gerald having the cleaner board of the two, so on pace to have the lead going into level 29 should both players reach it. 712,000 points for Gerald on level 26. Rahmations now on level 27 at 702,000 points. Both of the players are clean at the moment. About even in score, but Rahmations is 8 lines ahead. That is the difference at the moment. Gerald, though, needing something for the left side. Getting the piece over isn't a problem for Gerald, but still needs to get the piece in the first place. Does reopen as well, though. Takes a double there with the square and gets the Tetris. Gerald at 771,000 into level 29. Rahmations at 752,000 into level 29. And Rahmations gonna get the Tetris on level 29 as Gerald not able to get those Lombars over, so is done at 782, and Rahmations with that Tetris on 29 will be taking the lead and the game. So staying alive here in the semifinals. Is not willing to relent just yet. Still has a bit of fight left in him. Game number 4 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So Gerald. Some amazing Tetris here in the first 2 games. Able to race into a 2-0 lead. Rahmations able to fight back in game number 3. It came down to the wire. It came down to Rahmations having a better board going into 29 and being able to get that Tetris. So still in this match. Was a suffer game for both players' standards in game number 3. Well, that doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter how many high scores you can get. Just matters how many times you can outscore your opponent. So yeah, if you didn't know how competitive NES Tetris works, that's how it works. You have to outscore your opponent. I know I'm leaking a lot of secrets right there. Rahmations with quite a start here into game number 4. 160,000. Gerald with a pair of Tetrises goes up to 127. Shit suck. that is the best name I've ever seen in any Twitch chat. Hello, Killian Fetsuck. I hope you're enjoying the stream. $219,000 for Gerald. Rahmations. A Lombard dependency over to the left side. At 254,000. Still waiting for this Lombard is Rahmations. There's a Lombard finally. And we'll get the square for the left side. Vandy with the 50 bits. Thank you so much. I love you too. You are my favorite fat bald man from the United States. I have quite a few to choose from. Oh, Gerald in huge danger. Get the Lombard over! Right as I looked, he was in huge danger, but can just get Lombards over. Doesn't matter if it's 10 high, 20 high, 30 high, or 50 high. Gerald gets Lombards over and able to survive that. Just providing a highlight, the human highlight reel, even on level 18. 392 here for Gerald. 375 for Rahmations. But while Gerald is defying reality, Rahmations has built up quite a lead here on level 18. Currently at 421. Gerald at 302,000. And that just completely distracted me from Tetris. Thank you so much for the gift subscription to me. So I will enjoy those emotes. And thanks for supporting CTM. Really appreciate it. Gerald able to get the dirty Tetris to reopen his road to well at the moment. 334,000 for Gerald. Tetris for Rahmations goes up to 517,000. Rahmations, after staying alive narrowly there in game number 3, is having quite the game 4. Nice spin tuck there by Gerald. Gonna be able to keep building Tetrises here on road 2, although now with that split double, we'll be back down to the bottom. And Rahmations still has 3 Tetrises available and 590,000. What a game here by Rahmations on 18. And Gerald's going to transition to level 19 at 454,000. Rahmations still going here, although he's going to develop a hole on his board. He's probably trying to get those last 2 Tetrises, but it's going to result in some burning. Loses a Tetris, but now is clean. And we'll get the Tetris into level 19 at 641,000. So Gerald has his work cut out for him as we enter level 19. Gerald now on level 20 at 488,000. Rahmations at 645,000. So Rahmations having some troubles here at the beginning of the post-transition. Currently on level 20. Yet to Tetris after the transition at 653,000. Gerald having a solid start, although still quite a ways behind of Rahmations. Rahmations is nearly clean. Gerald with the Tetris goes up to 573 into level 22. Rahmations on level 21 at 662,000. So Gerald's done well here to narrow down the lead. But Rahmations still very much in the driving seat here in game number 4. 690,000. Another Tetris for Rahmations goes up to 718,000 for Rahmations here on level 22. Gerald at 637. Gets the Lombard tuck. Another Tetris here for Gerald into level 24 at 671. Gerald having quite a good post-transition here, but still lagging behind of Rahmations, but Rahmations in huge danger now. Able to take some burns. And it looks like Rahmations will be fine with that double into the Tetris. 768 for Rahmations on level 24. Gerald now on level 25 at 732,000. So Rahmations still with about a 40,000 point lead and is slightly behind in lines. Gerald has definitely narrowed down the gap here on the post-transition. Another Tetris for Gerald into level 26 and another Tetris, 804,000 for Gerald on level 26. Rahmations now entering level 25. Gets a Tetris right there, goes up to 814,000. Rahmations doing a slight bit of burning right here, but is clean right now. Gets a Tetris into level 26 at 849,000. It looks like we're actually going to be close to even going into level 29. The way these two are going right now, both of them are clean. Gerald is 12 lines away from level 29 at 904,000 points. Rahmations is a full level behind at 884,000. Both of them getting clean Tetrises. Gerald set up for one more Tetris before level 29. Rahmations still has 4 more Tetrises available. Gerald waiting for the Slumbar, but it's not showing up. There you go. Tetris for Gerald goes up to A13 into level 29. Set up for another Tetris. Gets the Tetris into level 30. A54 for Gerald. Rahmations at 824, still on level 28. Can get one more Tetris before level 29. Gerald going clean here on level 30. About to enter level 31. There it is. Rahmations now into level 29 at 835. And Rahmations' board is falling apart, but he can certainly survive these situations. Gets the Lombard over. And Gerald set up for another Tetris into B16, into level 32 for Gerald. And Rahmations' board is falling apart, and Gerald with a masterclass post 29 is going to secure game number 4. Rahmations did little wrong there in that game, but Gerald able to storm his way into the Challengers Finals. Congratulations to you, Gerald, who's still going. And commiserations to Rahmations, you played an excellent set. So congrats on making it this far. You put on an excellent show. But Gerald is still going. Level 35 now. Needs to get something over to the left side. Oh, it doesn't get the Lombard over. That is just outrageous. That defies reality. My god. I've nearly lost my voice. And we're just done with game number 1.
Hey everybody, this is your old pal Vandweller, host of Classic Tetris Monthly. If you like this video, hit thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, please subscribe and bang that notification bell. And follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/monthlytetris. Thank you, and have a nice day.